Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Friday's edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. Thank you so much for being with us today. We come to you from the Giants Podcast Studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. 201-939-4513. You know the phone number, but if you don't, jot it down. Give us a call. We're going to be here for the next hour. Dottino and Matt Citak. And it's the Giants and Jets in the MetLife Bowl coming up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock tip-off at MetLife Stadium. Locally, if you'd like to watch it on Channel 4, that's fine. If you want to watch it nationally, you can watch it on NFL Network. If you want to listen to it on your radio, or if you're still hanging out by the beach, you can do that too. Go to 101.9 FM.
And if you want to watch it in Spanish, it will be broadcasted on Telemundo, the first ever Spanish broadcast of the Giants-Jets MetLife Bowl.
Indeed. So, come on. Multiple ways to get a hold of this game. I mean, there's just no excuse. I will not tolerate any excuses for people missing this game. Okay? Because we're bringing it to you in so many ways.
You could stream it on the app as well.
The audio, I think, not the video, right? Is the video streamable too?
No,
I didn't know that.
It might just be the audio.
The audio is streamable through Giants.com.
Yeah.
Dave Dominic told me you could go to Giants.com and
that's what I meant.
Route you to the FAN or Odyssey app, and that's how you get it.
Yeah. That's
what he told me. Okay. I was like, wow, we're doing video
in
stream
market
too?
only. In market only.
Yes. Anyway, folks, that sets the table for our program today, because I want to know one thing from you guys. Which position, which unit, if you will, are you most interested in looking at tomorrow? We saw the offense rack up 34 points and almost 400 yards last week against the Bills in a 34-25 win. But there were still some warts on the game. Giants didn't run the ball well. They gave up a few chunk plays in the running game. They gave up a few chunk plays in the passing game. There were some things to be fixed. But on the other side, there were some really good signs from some very young players like Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter, and then from some veterans who are continuing to ramp up as they prepare for the regular season. So are you more concerned about seeing a guy have back-to-back terrific weeks like Jackson Dart? Are you more concerned about seeing a guy like Jalen Hyatt, who didn't play last week and is expected to play this week because he did practice some yesterday? Do you want to see him get some catches? What do you want to see in this game tomorrow? Matt, do you have a priority?
I do. And it's my priority probably every single week for the foreseeable future until they put enough consistent performances together
Evan Neal?
I don't have to, not worry, but pay particular attention to this group, and that is the offensive line.
51 attempts, no sacks.
That has been, the biggest, question mark surrounding this team for however many years you want to call it. It's going to continue to be the thing that I think is the most pivotal factor in whether or not this team can truly succeed this season and beyond, because we saw last week when the offensive line plays well, and not even has to play well, just gives the quarterbacks time. We saw what the quarterbacks then can do and what the offense can do as a whole unit. It all starts with the guys up front. We've been saying for months now. I'm only going to focus on this year.
How about decades?
That's what I said before. You can go back however many years you want. I'm only going to focus on 2025, though.
Yes.
We've been talking for months about how the offensive line is going to be probably the most important position group on this entire roster, because we know what we expect from the defense. Obviously, as they have made it very clear, they haven't done anything yet, but the glimpses we've seen from them, I'm not worried about the defense. I'm not worried about any part of the defense. I think the pass rush is going to lead that unit, and it's going to help, bring the guys behind them up a little bit and help their play, especially in the back end on offense. It's going to come down to how much time and if the offensive line can protect the quarterback, because whether it's, Russell Wilson tomorrow night, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito, they all showed last week with a little bit of time in the pocket, they can operate this offense well. They can hit their pass catchers, and the offense will run efficiently. The run game was a slightly different story, but let's take it one step at a time. So for me, I will be focusing on the offensive line. If you want to talk about a couple of guys in particular up there, as you mentioned earlier, Evan Neal, assuming he plays, I would say we don't know for sure. He did not practice on Tuesday, but then he did practice on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's practice got turned into a walkthrough,
Right.
so we don't really know how anyone came out of Wednesday's practice. Obviously, Coach Dable does not share any sort of injury news, so we don't know for sure that Evan Neal will be out there, but if he is out there, he's probably the number one offensive lineman I'll be looking at, with Marcus Bowe being a close second, because I could not be more encouraged with what he showed us last week in his very first game as a professional, starting at right tackle, moving over to left tackle, then moving back over to right tackle, and he didn't miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
One pressure, 35 pass blocking snaps, according to PFF.
Yeah.
So, in particular, I will be keeping an eye on those two. Bowe will be playing, we know. Neal, I hope, will be out there. As a unit, though, the offensive line is where I will be watching the closest tomorrow night. You, Paul?
I have actually specific names that I'm looking for.
Let's hear it.
I'm looking for Dart, Miller, and Bowe all to have back-to-back good weeks. It's one thing to have one good game, but you got to do it back-to-back.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back-to-back-to-back. Because as I always tell people, one game can be a fluke, 2 games is back-to-back, but 3 games makes a streak. Okay? Let's see back-to-back terrific performances out of Dart, out of Miller, out of Bowe, also out of Abdul Carter, should he get a few more snaps than he did the other day in Buffalo, because there wasn't much there.
Yeah.
But he was good when he was in there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, on the defensive side of the ball, he's the guy I'm most interested to watch. Not because, I would say there's any sort of concern, because there's no concern whatsoever. I just want to see him out there more to see what he can do, because he already showed a little bit. He's going to be a force, and it's not going to take long for him to go into the NFL and be a force right away.
We're greedy. We want to see as much of Carter as we can, as soon as we can, but we need to be patient.
Oh, yeah. I want to. He's the defensive player I'm most interested to see, but only for purely selfish reasons. Because I just want to see him, because I think he might very quickly establish himself as one of the best players on this defense, which is crazy because he's 21 years old.
All of us can't wait to see as much of him as we can, but it's prudent for them to hold him back.
Of course, but a little bit of taste. You got to give. Got to give him a little bit, because he's still getting his feet wet in the NFL. And while he's looked impressive, nothing, as Coach Dable himself has said, nothing takes the place of actual game reps. So I don't want to see him out there
correct
the whole game, even a whole half, but maybe a little more than the 6 snaps he got last week. That's all I ask.
Last week, all we had was the lettuce. Now I want some croutons and some cheese and some dressing. Okay, I want a little more. Give me a little more, Abdul Carter. A little bit more. I want to see debuts of Neal and Hyatt, because they didn't play last week.
Yep.
And both of those guys are big show-me players coming into this season. So whatever they can show me, either against the Jets or against the Patriots, to make me feel better about the opening game against Washington, would be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, Neal, again, just touched on him. He's never played guard in the NFL, so him getting out there for any game reps he can get would be very beneficial for him. And for Jalen Hyatt, I mean, again, as you said, he didn't play last week. He's been a kind of, I would say, up and down in training camp. He's had some great plays. Other times where he's, I would say, sort of just like disappeared, hasn't really been a factor. And the guys around him in the wide receiver room that are, you would think are below him on the depth chart have started to really step up. Some of those young guys. So, yeah, it's going to be very big for Jalen Hyatt to get out there and remind everyone what he can do. Because let's not forget, he was the Blitnikoff Award winner only a couple of years ago. He had a very successful final season playing it in the SEC at Tennessee. He didn't just, forget how to play football. But it's time for him to show it.
I think he was the MVP of the offseason program. I thought the spring
minicamp
and everything, he was the guy. He was the superstar.
And Dable not directly said it, but Dable has talked about how impressed he was with Jalen's performance throughout the spring.
And now the last few weeks, not always available.
It didn't fully continue into the summer. Which
please.
Obviously, we would have hoped.
We've read that book enough of times, haven't we? Can we reverse the arrow on this? All right, because right now it's kind of going in the wrong direction the last couple of weeks. It needs to go back up.
Yeah.
Okay? It needs to go back up for Jalen Hyatt. I'm rooting for him. Obviously, I also wrote down the whole wide receiver room because the battle continues at wide receiver, and special teams is going to be a very big part of that. We all know the names. I'm not going to go over them again. Defensively, I wrote down Darius Alexander. I want to see more snaps out of him and more consistency out of him this week because, again, there was a lot of really, really good stuff to say about him coming into training camp, and then he's been a little inconsistent. So I want to see him kind of get that arrow going in the right direction. And then I wrote down secondary depth because after Belton and after Flott, the back of the depth chart on this secondary is still very iffy.
Yeah, well, start with Darius. You're right. There was so much buzz, hype, and excitement throughout the spring, the off-season workout program about him. Since the start of camp, the buzz has sort of tempered off.
Yep.
And I will say, he had a couple of reps against the Jets where he showed how dominant he could potentially be in the NFL.
Well, the skills are there.
I mean, there's one clip of him going up against Joe Tippmann, who's considered to be one of the better young centers in the league, and Darius just manhandles him. And again, that's just a little taste of what he can do. So we didn't really see it last week. I'm with you. I would like to see a little more from him tomorrow night, and I would assume he's going to get an extended opportunity. I mean, we don't know how much any of these guys are going to play, but considering he's a rookie, third-round pick, and there's plenty of guys in front of him, I would think that he should get a pretty, extended opportunity to play tomorrow night. Secondary, of course, I spoke before about the offensive line on offense. Well, the secondary, not that they're the weak link, because I do think they are going to surprise people if they can really come together as a unit, but they're definitely the show-me unit of the defense.
Well, the depth chart for sure, because Adebo and Holland have proven things in this league before, just not here.
For sure. And Tyler Nubin and Drew Phillips showed very good signs as rookies last year. You would think year two, they make at least somewhat of a jump. Hopefully it's a big jump. NFL.com did name Drew Phillips as their selection as potential first-time Pro Bowler for the Giants this season.
Did they?
That was their pick of who on the Giants could make the Pro Bowl for the first time.
Sweet.
Drew Phillips, I could see it. Obviously, Deonte Banks, there was the one play last week that everyone seems to be talking about that didn't even count. So I don't know why that's the play that everyone seems to be harping on. John mentioned this in Fact or Fiction that just got put up on Giants.com. He didn't get his head around on that one play. But no one wants to talk about the fact that he forced the receiver out of bounds, and that is why the play got ruled an incomplete pass, because the receiver stepped out of bounds before making the catch. Everyone just wants to focus on the fact that he didn't get his head around at the last second. No one wants to focus on the fact that the play didn't count because of the play that Deonte Banks made to force the receiver out of bounds.
He used the sideline to squeeze the receiver.
Yes.
That itself is a great skill.
Exactly. No one wants to talk about that, though. They only want to focus on the not turning the head around.
I know.
Regardless, this obviously will be another big opportunity for him, assuming he plays. We don't know. He did miss at least, just Wednesday's practice, I believe.
Yeah.
So we don't know what his injury status is. Hopefully we get both him and Flott in there, because obviously that is the big training camp position competition, and they have not yet been able to take the field together in a game. Last week Flott missed. Hopefully they're both out there this weekend.
One final thought I will give you, and this is based on what I saw Tuesday and Wednesday as the Giants and Jets practiced against each other. The Paulson Adebo Garrett Wilson pairing was really fun this week. Adebo shackled him. He did a marvelous job during the 2-day practice sessions. In fact, in particular on Wednesday, 3 different occasions, Justin Fields was looking for him as the primary receiver, and Adebo was all over him, and Fields had to throw the ball away. Wilson, I'm sure, is not going to be happy about that. I'm sure he will remember what happened on Wednesday for sure. And he's going to want to come out and he's going to want to try to burn Adebo in Saturday's game. And I'm telling you, I think Adebo's up for the challenge. I want to see him shut that guy down again.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
That will be a great matchup to watch. What I'm kind of looking at on the defensive side of the ball, which it wasn't until, honestly, you just started speaking about this last point that made me think of this, but you would think, we assume that Justin Fields will play tomorrow night. How much, we don't know, but he's healthy, so the thought is he'll probably be out there for some period of time. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for the Giants just to get, a little taste of going up against a very mobile quarterback. Because if you look at the Giants' schedule this season, there are a lot of mobile quarterbacks on the schedule. Guys that either are superb runners. I mean, week 1, Jaden Daniels, obviously we know what he can do on the ground. But then other guys that, are more passers but are more than capable of running the ball as well. I mean, Dak Prescott week 2, I'm not really worried about him running the ball too much, but Patrick Mahomes has shown that he can run with the football. Justin Herbert has shown that he can run with the football. New Orleans, I don't even know who's going to be under center for them come week 5, so we'll skip that. And then a 3-week stretch, Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts again. And that's the first 8 weeks of the season right there, where almost all of them are matchups against quarterbacks that are more than capable of running with the football. So this week, or tomorrow's game will be a great chance to get, for the defense, to really get a first taste of going up against a mobile quarterback, a guy that's going to look to run with the football. If his first read's not there, there's a good chance he's going to immediately tuck it and start running with the ball.
That's if the Jets are dumb enough to let him do it. If I'm his coach, if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm telling Justin Fields, if there's pressure, just throw it away. I don't want you taking off and running around in an exhibition game tomorrow at MetLife Stadium. In fact, I'm telling him I'm going to fine him if he does.
I think he only played 1 drive in their game last week. He had 4 pass attempts and 2 rush attempts, including a touchdown. So he's running with the ball close to the goal line.
Shouldn't do it. Just like Jackson Dart shouldn't do it.
I don't think they're going to tell him not to do it,
though.
So it'll be a good
man.
But it'll just be a good test for the Giants. I mean, Justin Fields, if you're looking towards that week 1 matchup, just in terms of the mobility aspect, not passing-wise, because passing-wise, Jaden Daniels is
no doubt
so much better of a passer already
if
than
Fields
Justin
takes off, you're right.
But as a runner, I would say that Justin Fields is probably the most similar as a runner to Jaden Daniels that's going to be like on the schedule for the Giants this season. So it's going to be a good test. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the Giants, use a QB spy. I don't know if they'll want to sort of tip their hand on what their game plan might be.
I don't think they'll do
for
that.
week 1. Probably not, because it's the preseason.
No.
So we won't get that real preview of that aspect. But just how the defense handles a rushing quarterback is something that I think is going to be interesting to watch tomorrow night.
I agree with the point. I just don't think if I were the coach, I'd let him run. But we'll see.
I mean, Jackson Dart rushed it 3 times.
I told you how I felt about that too. I'm very anti quarterbacks running even in the preseason, but in the regular season. In the preseason, no. Do not throw the ball into the 3rd row. Do not take off. Just asking for trouble. Giants Huddle Podcast, folks, has Giants and NFL dignitaries on it, all kinds of long-form interviews. It is available on giants.com/podcasts and your favorite podcast platforms. Anything going up in the next day or 2 that we need to know?
Yes, there is a huddle that I couldn't post before the show because it wasn't quite ready to go up yet, but John sat down with Pearson. You're going to have to say his name.
Sam Brookhouse. From Sumer Sports. He's a data scientist.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that will be up as soon as we're done here. I'm going to go upstairs and post the video. I don't know. Pearson, do you already post the audio?
Audio should be up, yep.
There you go. Yesterday, we posted, John spoke with the guys that are doing the Spanish language broadcasts on Telemundo.
Oh, fun.
John sat down with them, had like a 15, 20-minute conversation. I spoke briefly with one of them during the media session on Wednesday. Interesting guys. Again, first ever Spanish language broadcast for this game. It's a big deal. So check that out. I think we posted.
Do they yell out touchdown like the soccer guys yell out goal? Touchdown!
They're pretty animated.
Oh, do they do that?
I don't know if they do
know.
like the goal, but it
Okay.
is very. There's a lot of excitement on those calls.
No doubt.
On the touchdown calls, the big play calls. There's a lot.
I've heard
of
the Cowboys
excitement,
Spanish
screaming.
broadcast, and it's pretty energetic.
Their play-by-play guy's done like every big sports thing in the world, like Olympics,
Cool.
stuff like that. And their color guy, Rolando Cantu, played for the Cardinals for 2 years on the offensive line.
He did.
I did not even know that.
Very nice.
Big
Very
guy.
interesting.
All right. Well,
And then-
I'd love to hear his analysis of our O-line, but I don't think I'd understand it.
And then just in addition to some of the podcasts, some very cool, good videos from this week against the Jets. The joint practices have been posted. We had a sights and sounds that really gives you a behind-the-scenes look from the sideline of these joint practices. That went up yesterday. There were mic'd up videos with Wan'Dale Robinson and Kayvon Thibodeau that also went up. All of it available, Giants.com, Giants app, Giants YouTube. Highly recommend
It's all
giving
free.
them a look because it's a very cool, you guys always say you want to get those behind the scenes views and looks of practice games. Well, here's your chance.
Great stuff. Great stuff from the Giants digital crew. 201-939-4513 is our phone number. Remember, if you want to get a shot at Giants season tickets for the 2025 season, they are available. You get access to club benefits all year round. Go to giants.com/tickets. Also, the Giants TV mobile app. We've been telling you about all this stuff that's up electronically. Well, you can use the mobile app to get access to all of it. And it's free, and it's available on Apple TV, Roku, Hulu, whatever it is. They're all there. Amazon Fire TV and the Giants mobile app, not Hulu. Hulu's just one of the TV services. I'm sorry, I just gave them a free plug. They could pay me a couple of bucks tomorrow if they wish. The Giants Foundation will host a 5K race and kids run presented by Quest on Sunday, October 26th at 9 a.m. at MetLife Stadium. Net proceeds will benefit the Giants Foundation. All proceeds, or participants, I should say, will receive a commemorative T-shirt after the race. Stay for a post-race festival with appearances by Giants legends and a live DJ. Register now at Giants.com 5K. The Giants Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Pearson, are you doing the 5K? No? Not doing the 5K? Oh,
Are you?
I can't. I'm with the team.
I think you'd win the walking portion.
I would. I'd be very glad to challenge anybody in the power walk, but the problem is we're on the road that weekend.
That's true.
They always have to do it when we're on the road so that they can be out here. And otherwise, if we were home, they couldn't have the parking lot. So,
Which game is
Yeah,
that?
which game? You could walk there.
let's see which game that is.
Is it the Eagles?
It
October
is
26th, right?
Yep.
You could walk to Philly
Yeah.
after.
Just go right from the 5K directly down to Philly. It won't take you that long with how fast you walk.
The game is at 1 o'clock.
Start a little early.
All right, folks. That takes care of the sponsorship portion of our program. Let's quickly check on YouTube comment or two.
We got some YouTube comments.
Why don't you read one for us right off the top?
All right. Well, the first one from MB Goblin. We would love to see Banks have another solid game. Also would love to see Bo have another great day at tackle, especially if he can solidify the right tackle spot, but having a better left tackle backup for Thomas would be great. And then kind of connected to that, Martin Brown said, any news when Thomas and Neighbors will be ready? We'll start with the second one. No, there is no news. We do not know. As of now, Andrew Thomas is still on the physically unable to perform list. There will, whenever the time comes where he is ready to get back to practice, there will be an announcement that he has passed the physical and will be returning to practice. That has not come yet, so we know he will not be playing tomorrow because you are not allowed to play if you are on the PUP list.
Correct.
As for Malik, we do not know. Coach has not given any updates whatsoever. We're in the time in the preseason where Coach doesn't have to share any information about any injuries that he doesn't want to. And sure enough, as we know, Coach,
He doesn't.
he does not like to share injury updates. So we don't have any updates on that. I would assume, given the fact that Malik was not out there at practice this week, I would assume that he does not play tomorrow, but we don't know. Again, we are not told anything.
Gut feel, I'll go out on a limb here. Gut feel, he won't play in the preseason at all.
That's tend to be where I lean as well. We already showed last year he doesn't he doesn't need these reps like some of the other
No.
guys do, especially at the wide receiver position where there are a lot of guys fighting for spots.
Mm-hmm.
Way more important to give them an extended look than to have Malik play through whatever it is that he's dealing with. So, no, there's no news, but for Andrew, there will be an announcement when he's ready to return to practice. For Malik, as Paul just said, I feel like you could probably confidently say, see you week 1.
Yeah.
My guess. In terms of MB Goblin's comment, we already spoke about Banks. It's tomorrow. If he's out there, will be big for him. He would likely, if he's out there, would likely get at least some reps against Garrett Wilson. He's not going to shadow him. I don't think they're going to have anyone shadow anyone in the preseason at least, but he will get some reps against, Garrett if he's out there. That would be great practice. We already spoke about Bo as well. One thing, and the user said it'd be good if he can solidify right tackle, but also have a good backup left tackle. And that is what I think is a very important thing. Obviously, we all hope that Andrew Thomas is ready come week 1. He is an all-pro left tackle when he's healthy. He is the best offensive lineman the Giants have. No doubt about it. We would love to see him out there. If he is unable to play week 1, or if he is back week 1 and ends up having to miss time at some point later in the season, if Bo can show us tomorrow night and then again next Thursday, if he can show that he is ready to play immediately, that would be such a significant boost to the depth on the offensive line, because it gives you another guy that you feel confident about in addition to James Hudson that you could throw out there if Thomas and Illuminor have to miss time at any point, or if Thomas is not ready for week 1. Bo got off to a very strong start last weekend. If he can do it again tomorrow night against a pretty good Jets defense, I don't know who's going to be playing for the Jets, who's not, because obviously some of their bigger name defensive linemen did not participate in practice on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was just give them a rest day sort of thing. I don't know if we'll see them, but if they are out there, that will be great competition for Marcus Bo. I'm talking about Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams is more of inside, but he could get some reps against him. Just another great test for Bo. But yeah, if he can continue playing well for the rest of the summer, it would just go such a long way in making all of us feel so significantly better about the depth on the offensive line.
Yeah, I totally concur with that. I do think the other item that I kind of missed over before, on Wednesday, Max Mitchell did a really good job in one-on-ones against Abdul Carter. In fact, I think they took 3 reps against each other, and Mitchell won 2 of them. And they were strong wins. I'm really curious to see how Abdul Carter responds to that. Knowing him as little as we do, I expect he's going to have a stick of dynamite in his belly come tomorrow. And I think he's going to want to show Max Mitchell that you got me on a couple of reps on Wednesday. You're not getting me tonight. I'm looking forward to what Abdul Carter's going to do to him.
Yeah, and I don't know if weird is the right word to use, but on Tuesday, Abdul dominated that matchup against Max Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday, Max Mitchell got the best of Abdul.
Mm-hmm.
So 1-1. If tomorrow night might be the deciding factor to see who wins the week-long matchup. I can't wait to see what Abdul could do. I would lean slightly more towards Abdul, but I'm biased because I've seen way more of Abdul than I've seen of Max Mitchell.
We also know he's got a real deep-seated fire in his belly. He's got, like Coach says, dog in him. He's the kind of guy who you don't want to face him in a rematch if you beat him, because he's coming back breathing fire.
Yeah, and I think it very much helps having those veterans in the room with him that, this was discussed during media on Wednesday, are showing Abdul, and I'm talking about Brian Burns in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Showing Abdul Carter as a 21-year-old rookie how to operate and how to, take care of yourself, how to practice establishing a good work ethic, how to basically do everything the right way.
And be more consistent.
Brian Burns has really stepped up in the leadership department.
What a pro.
Since the end of last season. He is going to very much help the development of Abdul Carter, in my opinion, because he is showing. Brian Burns has had a lot of success in the NFL so far. He's nowhere near satisfied with what he's done in his first 6 NFL seasons. He said he wants to take his game to a level that has never been. He seems to be off to a good start the way he's been practicing every single day. And even just as important as that, he is helping groom Abdul Carter. And I think we're going to get to see the best version of Abdul Carter. Might not be for down the road. It could be a year, couple of years from now. But that version we eventually see of Abdul Carter, Brian Burns is going to play a big factor in helping him get to that level.
I think so. Walter in New York, you are first on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Hello.
How you doing, Paul?
Hi. Thanks for calling.
Yes. Nice to talk to you guys. I'm a first-time caller,
Great.
long-time listener.
Thanks for calling in.
And thanks for listening.
First
So
things
please,
first,
yeah, go
I
for
want
it.
to talk about you guys being the best in
Well,
the business.
You're very kind.
We appreciate that.
Not a problem. But I wanted to talk about my enthusiasm about the Giants this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear it.
I have a good feeling about them. And I know, Paul, you wanted to talk about how it should be important to start fast. I think we could end up going 2-0 to start the season.
Well, that's the
I don't know
idea,
what
Walter. Get
Yep,
those
I
2
don't-
wins
I don't
in the
know what's gonna
division.
equate for wins, but I think they're going to be in every game because of the defense. And I'm excited can't wait to when Jackson Dart gets in there too.
Well,
I
don't
know we
rush the
should sit
kid,
a while.
okay? Don't rush
I know
him.
we should sit a while. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't rush him. If you think the
No,
Giants
no.
are going to be competitive all season long, then that means Russell
Right,
Wilson's
exactly.
doing a good job.
Yes, I hope so too. I just can't wait till you get Jackson Dart in there because then I think the Giants is going to be special.
Yeah, we agree. I mean, we only seen a very, very small bit of Jackson Dart so far, but obviously had just about as encouraging of a first game as one could have hoped for last week. He's going to get another big opportunity tomorrow night. I would expect him to be, probably him and Tommy will. My guess would be that they will play the most tomorrow night because I don't know how much more you really need to see from Russ and Jameis with what they've accomplished in their careers. So, yeah, tomorrow is just the next step in Jackson's development. But as Paul mentioned,
Yes, I'm excited to see
in an
that.
ideal world, we don't see Jackson Dart take the field in the regular season for a long time because that means the Giants are
Correct.
winning games.
Walter, how long have you been a Giants fan?
Oh, all my life, and I'm 63 years old, so
Okay, so
I can relate to some of your stories.
okay, so you go back to Frank Tarkenton, right?
What's that?
You go back to Frank Tarkenton when he was the quarterback,
Oh, sure.
just like I do. Here's what I'll tell you, all right? And I've said this to other people, and this is not hype. This is just a fact, okay? I didn't start covering the team till 83. Phil Simms was a rookie in 79. I can't speak to what Phil Simms did as a rookie when he was in training camp. I can't do that. But since 1983, of all the quarterbacks who have come into this organization as a rookie, I'm telling you, Jackson Dart has had the most impressive rookie offseason of any Giants quarterback since 1983. Okay? I've seen a bunch of rookies come through here. Now, not all of them were number 1 picks. All right, Eli was a 1, Dart's a 1, Dave Brown was a 1. That's it. All the other quarterbacks who have come through here were less than number 1s. They were middle of the road picks, 4s, 5s.
That had success or in general?
No, who came here?
Well,
Davis Webb.
6 years ago, there was Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Did I forget to mention Daniel?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I forgot to mention Daniel. But Davis Webb, Kyle Lauletta, the kid from Syracuse, Rhett Bomar.
Ryan Nassib.
Ryan Nassib, Rhett Bomar. There's been a bunch of them, okay? I have never seen a rookie quarterback come into the Giants with as high a level as Jackson Dart has. That's just an observation of fact. That's not hype. That's not telling you he's going to go to Canton. I'm not going to do that, okay? But I'm going to tell you that coming right out of the box, He's delivered the most check marks that a rookie quarterback has done in my time with the Giants. It's a heck of a good start.
Oh yeah, it's
I
just
agree with you.
it's just about
100%.
all you could ask for a rookie quarterback in the start of his NFL career. The one thing I do just want to make kind of clear though to everyone is we're saying all these positive things about Jackson Dart, and he deserves it with how he's handled himself, how he's performed since the day that he stepped into this building. However, we are by no means, you said this before, but I'm just reiterating the fact, we are no means saying that means we think he should get onto the field in the regular season, sooner rather than later. Because for as good as Jackson Dart has looked, Russell Wilson has looked even better.
Yeah.
He is a 14-year veteran who is proven what he can accomplish in this league. He has been operating and composing himself like he's a man on a mission that wants to prove to everyone in the NFL, I still have plenty of gas left in the tank. And the way he's been playing in practice just about every single day has shown that he is still more than capable of being a good starting quarterback in the NFL. And I think because of, the hype around Jackson, that part kind of gets overlooked. But I think come week 1, when it is Russell Wilson leading the offense, everyone is going to get a reminder that he is still a very good NFL quarterback.
Walter, I invite you to enjoy the season, and I hope you call us again.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Walter.
201-939-4513. We go back to YouTube. Cuz says,
What was that name?
Cuz?
I just wanted to hear you say it again.
Should Elijah Chapman fans be worried about him not carving out a spot on the 53? He's got his work cut out for him. There's a lot of people in that defensive line room right now. I'm not sure how it's all going to fall with the latter guys on the depth chart. He's not starting, obviously. So anybody who doesn't start is going to be swimming in a very difficult competition. So my answer to you is he's got another 3 weeks to prove himself.
Which guys on the interior defensive line are you confident right now in saying these guys are making the team?
Robertson Harris.
Obviously Dex.
And I'm sure that Alexander's on the team.
Do we count Chauncey Golston? I know he's kind of a hybrid.
I'm counting Chauncey Golston as a defensive end.
Outside linebacker? Okay. So then those three.
And I think you probably keep one more.
If it's only one more, then yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out for him.
It's got to be Nacho, right?
Nacho is
he's
not only is he a leader on this team,
though.
but
it's not a lock.
Nacho is, I think, had himself a strong summer, and it gets completely overlooked just given all the other talent that the Giants have on the defensive front. Nacho's been good, especially in the run game. And obviously that has been sort of the Achilles heel of this defense for years now. Nacho is a boost to the run defense. So I would have to look at, also the contract numbers and stuff, but I would be surprised if Nacho doesn't make the team given the veteran leadership he also brings. And that doesn't even touch on the fact that DJ Davidson has had himself a pretty good summer.
That's where I think the stiffest competition is going to come from. He had a sack the other day against Buffalo, by the way, while he was being held.
Yep. And he's looked good in practice, too.
He has. And he's a lot bigger and thicker than he used to be.
Yeah. So,
Jordan Riley's got his work cut out for him. Ledbetter's got his work cut out for him. I don't know that those guys are going to make it, but there's still 2 preseason games to go. And the final cut down, or the only cut down from 90 to 53, is on August 26th. So there's still time for any of these guys to jump up and grab the ring. So Chapman's just one of those guys in the mix. That's it. Chris Johns says he would love to see the first team offense do more than 1 or 2 series. I don't think that's going to happen. My prediction, and it's strictly a prediction and I don't like to make them, is that Coach does what he did last week. I think the healthy veterans get to play for a series, maybe 2, and that's it.
Well, yeah. In terms of the first part, the healthy part, I am very confident in saying anyone that has even the slightest bit of an injury
they sit.
Is not going to play. I'm pretty confident in saying that.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything, but Coach Dable has made it very clear the players that are healthy, he says will play. And so I think if you're dealing with any sort of ailment, even if it's minor at this point, there's no need to risk making it a more serious injury for this preseason matchup. That's the starters, or to start. I do think how long, if we're talking about the first team offense in particular, how long they are out on the field depends on how they look in that first drive. If Russell Wilson goes out there and leads the offense right down the field and scores a quick touchdown,
They're coming out.
Mm-hmm. What else do you need to see? But if they go 3 and out, then yeah, I think they're going to go out there for another series because you want them to sort of build some momentum and some positive, feelings as a unit before you take them out. Because the third preseason game, I don't know who's going to play in that game.
No.
That's going to probably be more so the guys fighting for roster spots than the established starters. So this might be the last chance in the preseason for the starters, the healthy starters, to really get some actual game reps in before the regular season. So how long they play, I think, is going to depend on how they look when they do first go out there. And the same goes for the first team defense. If they force a 3 and out quickly and get a sack, a tackle for loss, force a punt, I don't know if you're going to necessarily need to see at least some of those top guys go out there again. Someone like Brian Burns, who even said the other day he's been practicing in full, but he said that he's already a little bit nicked up.
Mm-hmm.
With the way he's been practicing every single day, there's not much I need to see from him in a preseason game, especially tomorrow. Like, I would rather, if he goes out there for a couple plays, looks good, take him out. Put him on ice until week 1. I don't need to risk him getting hurt because if he is healthy, I think he could be like the linchpin for the defense being an elite unit this year.
I say that last year he was a Pro Bowl alternate. Now that he's healthy, on a defense that's going to make waves and get accolades, unlike last year's D, which did not draw a lot of positive reviews, I think you'll see Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns be Pro Bowl picks. And there might even be somebody else on the team who gets a Pro Bowl nod too. But I'm pretty sure both of those guys are going to wind up going. I believe that. I think both guys are in their prime, and I think the best is still yet to come from both of those players.
Yeah, I mean, people seem to forget Dexter Lawrence, who has been a Pro Bowl for 3 straight years now, was in the midst of his best season before getting hurt. And he had been selected as an All-Pro the previous 2 seasons, and he was having a better season than those last 2 years. He had already set a new career high in sacks, and he missed the last, 6 games of the season?
Yeah, and consider that overall, that front was not as potent this last year and a half since Leonard Williams was traded. Now, with this front, how much better does that make Dexter, too?
And Kayvon missed time last year. Azeez Ojulari missed time last year. Obviously,
I'm telling
injuries are going to happen again. I'm not saying that the whole defensive front is going to stay healthy for all 17 games. I mean, it would be fantastic if that happens. But just given the nature of the NFL, I would say it's unrealistic to expect everyone to stay healthy for every single game. But if that defensive front can even stay relatively healthy, no serious injuries or guys missing very extended periods of time, then yeah, I think Dex could have his best season. I think Burns could easily be a double-digit sack guy.
Because he's done it before.
He had 8 last year playing through God knows how many different ailments, and with all the guys around him coming in and out of the lineup with their own injuries. You have Abdul Carter, who knows what his ceiling is. Even as a rookie, his ceiling is very high. And Kayvon Thibodeau, who everyone in that defensive line group has been talking about how impressive he has looked since coming back from his injury last year. Everyone's been saying he flipped a switch, and it's been a different Kayvon out there. Again, he seems to be one of the forgotten guys, just given the other 3 on the defensive front.
Help me out here. Tell me if I'm describing this correctly. He seems to have taken up his level of determination about 2 notches.
Oh, yeah.
You agree?
Yes.
That's the best word I can come up with. He seems determined.
I was talking about Russell Wilson playing like a man on the mission. Well, if you're going to pick one guy on the defensive side of the ball, that's the same thing. It is for sure Kayvon Thibodeau. He's looking to prove that he is a, star defensive end, star outside linebacker. Because right now, at least members of the media don't look at him that way.
No, they do not.
He certainly thinks he's capable of being that sort of player, and he seems like he's on a mission to prove it this year.
All right, the over The over-under guy says Abdul Carter's been getting runs with the ones and twos. Why is that? I don't know that we really have to answer that question. Abdul Carter is a pseudo starter for this team right out of the box. He will be in a number of packages where he's going to be right there at the beginning of the lineup, and then there's going to be other packages where he's just spelling somebody. So this should not surprise you why he's running with ones and twos. That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't know if we have to answer that.
Yeah, and I think some of it is also just he's a rookie. They want to get the veteran players some more snaps with the first-team defense. And, again, they have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. So if they want to run a package that's not, 3 outside linebackers on the field together to start training camp, Abdul's behind those 2 veterans.
He's got to. He's got to be.
When the regular season starts and when the games start happening, could that change? Yeah, it could. But right now, Kayvon and Brian Burns are going to get those reps over Abdul. So that I think it makes sense that he's getting some snaps with the second-team defense. Don't take that as thinking like, oh, come the season, Abdul's going to be a backup.
No.
He's going to be out there plenty. They're going to find ways to get him on the field. They're going to line him up all over. I'm not worried about his playing time in the slightest bit.
That's not a wild guess. No. I promise you that. Said, Dan C.I. wants to know any update on Scatterboo. Again, we're dealing with a reported sore hamstring, and coach does not seem to be worried long-term about any of the guys who are injured, but he continues to say they progress. They are a day-to-day. When they're good enough to go out there, they'll go out there. It is my opinion, as we get closer and closer to the regular season, you have to start wondering if he could be IR designated for return at some point, because it's starting to linger. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen, folks, but as you get closer to the regular season, that then becomes a realistic option and a possibility. Just want to throw it out there as something that you have to keep in the back of your head, because the realistic options that you have for a player increase as you get closer to opening day. Way back when, it's like, it doesn't matter. But as you get to opening day and you're going to have to make that cut to 53, you now start to have to look at what are the legit possibilities? What are the options you have? That's going to be one of the options as we get closer.
Yeah, I mean, again, Brian Dable does not share any injury news with us, with anyone, so we don't know where Cam Scatterboo is in his recovery from this injury. He could be on the practice field Monday. He could get placed on IR come 2 weeks from now. We have no idea.
Right.
He's not going to share any updates. He's made that abundantly clear. So you guys will probably find out around the same time that we do.
All right. We have also MB Goblin comes back again on YouTube. Any relation to the Green Goblin, by the way? Just wondering. How has Corey Black looked so... You didn't like that. You're not a Spider-Man guy?
I like Spider-Man, but...
Well, Marvel does participate, or has participated as a sponsor over the years.
Yeah.
So
I still have my Giants Marvel shirt.
So the Green Goblin works.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
How is Corey
playing the Jets this week? You want to call it the Green Goblin?
Well...
I got you there.
There are some people who think the Jets are evil.
One of them sitting next.
I never said that. How has Corey Black looked so far? I feel like he is the only rookie that hasn't been talked about. He was a 7th-round pick who specialized in special teams, but also, according to Joe Shane, they thought he had some corner skills. To be frank, he has shown up a few times during the course of the offseason, but not nearly enough for me to consider him a high level of competition. Now, he still has 3 more weeks. Maybe he has a great game tomorrow and picks off 2 passes, and we'll all be talking about him on Sunday. That could happen. But right now, at this point, I don't think he's done anything super spectacular to make himself stand out.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. You know, all the other rookies, to some degree, have found a way to stand out in some capacity.
Yeah.
He has not quite done that yet. That's not to say he won't. as you mentioned, still a couple of weeks left. He was also the last pick and one of the last picks in the entire draft. So it's not crazy that of all the rookies being talked about, he's being discussed the least. Kind of makes sense.
Okay. Someone is suggesting this. Pearson, is this RB Group nickname? That's not part of our YouTube chat?
That was from a while ago.
Okay, fine.
I see one other YouTube comment I just want to very quickly touch on, because I said before that the run defense has been the Achilles heel of the defense the last couple of years, and somewhat JB commented that disagrees that it's been causing turnovers. Now, causing turnovers was certainly a weakness last year. The Giants were among the worst in the league in that department last year, but they were also among the worst in the league in their rush defense. And that weaknesses on the rush D goes back the last 4 seasons. The last 4 seasons, they were, I believe, bottom 5 or 6 in rushing yards allowed every single season. The causing turnovers, I'm not trying to sit up here and say that that's been good, because it hasn't. But it was only a couple of years ago that the Giants were in the top half of the league in takeaways, the 2022 season. And that same season, the rush defense still struggled. And I think that some of the moves, or all the moves that were made on the defensive side of the ball this offseason, honestly, were meant to address both of these categories.
Mm-hmm.
The causing takeovers, for sure. I mean, Javon Holland, more so Paulson Adebo, Abdul Carter, like those are guys that are going to force turnovers for sure this year. But they also went and signed Roy Robertson Harris, Jeremiah Ledbetter. They drafted Darius Alexander. Interior defensive line was clearly a area that the front office felt needed to be addressed as well. So I think we're kind of both right here. And I think that both of these areas we are going to see improvements this year, hopefully in a big way.
I hate to do this, but I got to tack on giving up big plays in the secondary too.
Yeah.
That's been a big problem the last couple of years, and it's hurt them getting off the field. Last week against Buffalo, they gave up a bomb inside the 10-yard line with 4 seconds left in the half that allowed the Bills to kick a chippy field goal. That is inexcusable. That cannot happen. And if it happens during a regular season game, Brian Daboll is going to turn as red as volcanic ash, which is red before it turns into gray.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see that. So, got to stop giving up big plays in the passing game. There were 2 bombs last week against the Bills. And the one real big one there down to the 6-yard line. Yep. Again, right at the end of the second quarter. No, absolutely not forgivable. All right, we go back to the phones. Rich in Virginia, you're next on the show. Hello.
No, I'm in Florida now, Godfather, but that's okay.
Whoa, wait a second. Did you tell Pearson you were in Virginia, or did you tell him you were in Florida?
He said he goes back and forth.
Well, you don't confuse him. That's not fair.
Anyway, I got to agree with you, Godfather. I go back to 61. The way Jackson has come into the league has been with a lot of flair. Now, you might remember when Sims came in. Remember when Pete Rozelle announced the draft pick, the Giants fans booed.
Yeah.
Because none of us heard of him, and he came from a small school called Moorhead State. And unfortunately, his early career was marred by injuries, and it wasn't until 84 when he got healthy finally, and we went to the playoffs. So
correct.
I agree with you. That was a really good point. The other thing I've been thinking about as a longtime Giant fan, some of the old guys might relate to this also. I've had thoughts in my head, in my spirit, that Russell Wilson could be deja vu of when we picked up Y.A. Tittle in 61. Similarities. The guy is older. He's in the final part of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Came from another team. When Y.A. came from San Francisco, and what happened? Won 3 successive NFC East championships.
Yes.
So I hope it repeats.
Well, I tell you what, Rich, the one thing you got to remember is that Tittle still had a lot of offensive weapons on that team.
That's true.
They had some legit explosive players, between Rote and Gifford and Webster. They were all there. I don't know right now how we're going to equate the Giants' explosive players to those guys. They were much more accomplished. Neighbors has done it for 1 year. Slayton's good, but he's not Del Schaffner. To be fair, he's not.
And the other guys are all, still at the beginning parts of their career.
Yeah.
Malik is included in that group, but obviously Theo Johnson's only going into year 2. Even Wandell is going into year 4
and
now.
that offensive line that Tittle had in 61 was also a heck of a lot better and much more proven than this one is.
That's true. But,
So, Rich, I don't want to. I appreciate the thought. I'd love for the same results for the Giants to go back to the postseason in Russell Wilson's first year. That would be super. I just don't think. I don't think the match is as close as you think it is, though.
Yeah, good point on the offensive line, but it's a different era as well. We know
it is.
That's true.
All right, keep up the good work. We love you guys. Keep it up.
Thank you, Rich. Be well.
Thanks, Rich. I got a question for you before we log off, because you might be aware, you might not be.
What's that?
Tomorrow,
15 years?
Exactly 15 years.
I'm aware.
Of course you were aware. What was I thinking? Exactly 15 years ago from tomorrow, Victor Cruz had his welcome to the NFL party, the hello, I'm here, his breakout game against the Jets in the preseason. And we all remember, and it led to him having that amazing Giants career that he had. So my question for you is, tomorrow on the 15-year anniversary, who do you think is the most likely player on offense to have a Victor Cruz-like performance, quote-unquote, out of nowhere? So we already spoke about Malik probably not playing, but not one of the established starters. Who would be your pick?
Trace Ford.
I said offensive. That's a good pick defensive. That's actually who I would have picked for defensive, but I meant offensive.
Offensive? I hope it's Bo Collins.
That would have been my number 2 choice.
Okay.
Because he has looked good in practice. I would like to see him do it in a game. My number 1 choice, and I already see there are some people commenting in the chat on YouTube.
Washington?
Montrell Washington. Because he showed us a little glimpse of it last week. Dante Miller had an amazing week as a pass catcher.
Does he count, though? Because he's already been in the league.
He's not an undrafted rookie, but he is he's had 3 years in the NFL, complete journeyman experience up till now.
Yes.
He's never established himself as a wide receiver in the NFL. He showed us a little bit last week. He finished second on, everyone was talking about Dante Miller receiving, which was fantastic. Montrell Washington finished second with 60 yards on 3 receptions. He had that one amazing catch and run that we've seen him do in practice, but it was nice to see him do it in a game.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have at least one of those where he gets the ball in his hands, makes a guy miss, and just takes it all the way, or takes it for a humongous gain. That it would be my pick for who could have a somewhat out of nowhere breakout performance tomorrow night.
I'll say this, and I'm going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it earlier in the show, but I'll do it now anyway. I think there were 4 receivers battling for that potential number 6 wide receiver spot if they keep a 6th. I think we mentioned it earlier this week on the program. I'll say it one more time. Washington, Olszewski, Cambry, Collins. Those 4 guys in my mind have separated themselves from the rest of the contenders who want the potential 1 receiving spot left on the 53.
You said for the 6th receiver spot?
Yeah.
So who are you considering the number 5?
Smith-Marsette.
Okay.
I've got Smith-Marsette on this team. I cannot put him in jeopardy.
I tend to agree with you, and I know he has looked very good as a receiver since getting re-signed a couple of days into training camp, but I feel like carrying Amir and Gunner, there's a little bit of overlap there.
Well, that's why
I feel like there's a better chance one of them is kept than 2.
I don't see them getting rid of Smith-Marsette.
I agree with you.
I think
which might be a shame because Gunner has looked really good as well. In practice, he's looked
since
really
he came back,
good.
He's looked even better than he was here the first time.
Yes. As a receiver,
I agree.
He has stepped up as a receiver for sure.
But I think the best of the 4 that I see as the contenders, I think the best pure receiver is Bo Collins out of those four. He's caught the ball. Him and Olszewski have caught the ball better than the other two. Cambry, I think, would be right below them. And Washington's had some dropsies for me.
Washington, I mean, he had, 2 drops in the game? But
and in practice, he does it too.
I thought he's been pretty consistent in practice. Maybe a drop or two, but not what we saw like last Saturday. He's really, I mean, going back to the spring, he has been, I mean, I've said this to you many times, one of my standout players. I think he's been more impressive than Dalen Cambry as a receiver.
He's more explosive.
Exactly, for sure.
That's definitely
He's
true.
the most explosive of this group. As an all-around receiver,
yes.
I think it might come down, as you said, it might come down to him and Bo Collins, who has also looked impressive, but we haven't seen Bo Collins do it in a game yet. Hopefully he's out there tomorrow night and we can see him do it in a game.
Big time opportunity for Bo Collins tomorrow.
What about someone like Little Jordan Humphrey, though? Just in terms of making the team. He doesn't count for the Victor Cruz breakout because he's already been in the league and done enough where he's not completely out of nowhere, but he's looked good almost every day in practice.
He has.
But I agree with you, like, he has looked good, and I want to find a spot on the team for him, but I don't see where.
I don't see where Humphrey gives you anything on special teams.
That's my point. Like
the other guys all have a chance to give you something on specials.
I think he deserves a spot on the team, but when you're talking about the bottom of the depth chart of receiver, as we've heard, Joe Shane even talk about, those guys have to contribute on special teams as well.
It's mandatory.
So do you? No, you know what? Never mind. I was going to ask a question, but
go ahead.
Do you think that Jalen Hyatt's spot on the team is completely safe?
I guess it becomes a little more in question today than it was a month ago.
For sure. Is that very strong spring has not carried over to the summer. He's just not been out there consistently.
I think he's on the team.
I think so too. For the record. I do think so. Now, 10 days from now, that could change based on how the next 2 preseason games go. If Bo Collins breaks out along with Montrell Washington, if they both have 2 standout games the next 2 weeks, it'd be tough to not include them. And then
folks,
maybe you carry 7 receivers then. I don't know.
This is why you need to watch every snap of these next 2 games, okay? Because these puzzles need to be solved. Jalen Hyatt, show me time. You got to get out there and do it.
And I'm glad you used the word puzzle, because when you're making this roster, especially the bottom part of this roster, it is an actual puzzle. As Brian Dable said about Dante Miller the other day, he said, Dante Miller is not competing with the other running backs to make the team. He is competing with the guys in the other rooms, more so for a special teams role. Because that is how the bottom of the roster, those guys are going to earn their spots. And that goes for, the wide receivers that we're talking about as well. It goes for them too.
Time for us to go, and we can fiddle with our own Rubik's Cubes and figure out who will be on the 53 over the next couple of weeks. That'll do it for Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. And we have come to you from the Giants Podcast Studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. A reminder, tomorrow, kickoff at MetLife Stadium, the Giants and the Jets, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, locally on Channel 4, locally on 101.9 FM WFAN, also on the Giants app, also Spanish on Telemundo is what you said?
Telemundo, yep.
And also nationally on the NFL Network. For Matt Citak, I'm Paul Dottino. Big Blue Kickoff Live comes back your way Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.